Alrighty, so 3.2C lesson, we're looking at properties. Okay, this is typically tough for kids because it is a lot of memorization. Okay, so you have to study this page. Okay, you have to study this page. All right, so commutative property, we've already studied this last module. That says a number plus another number is equal to the reverse of those added together. Okay, so reversing the order of addition doesn't affect, does not change, let's say, doesn't change the sum. Okay, an example of that, 2 plus 3 equal 3 plus 2. 2 plus 3 is 5, and 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, commutative property of multiplication we studied last module as well. That said A times B equals B times A. Reversing the order of multiplication doesn't change the product. Okay, so let's use 1/3 times 1/2 equals 1/2 times 1/3. This would be 1/6, and this is also 1/6. Okay, associative property of addition, to refresh your memory on that, we said A plus B plus C equal A plus B plus C. We're going to group those together, and then we're going to group those together. Okay, so changing the grouping of addition does not change the sum. Okay, so let's do 2 plus 3 plus 4 equal 2 plus 3 plus 4. Let's group together those. Let's group together those. So this would be 5 plus 4, and this would be 2 plus 7. 5 plus 4 is 9, and 2 plus 7 is 9. Whoops, let's scooch that up a little bit. Okay, the associative property of multiplication. It's a review of last module also. A times B times C equal A times B times C. Grouping those together, grouping those together. Okay, changing the grouping of multiplication does not change the product. Okay, let's do 4 times 5 times 2 equal 4 times 5 times 2. Group together those two, group together those two. This would be 20 times 2. This is 4 times 10. 20 times 2 is 40. 4 times 10 is 40. All right, now the distributive property is something we just learned. Okay, so this is the new one adding in here. So A times B plus C equals A times B plus A times C. So this means A groups of the sum of B plus C. All right, so let's do 3 times 2 plus 5. So 3 times 2 plus 3 times 5 would be 6 plus 15, which is 21. Okay, the substitution property we learned last module, and it's when you replace something for something else. So it's when A equals B, A may be replaced by b. So something like 3 times 2x plus 20 equals 6x plus 20. Okay, we substituted 6x in place of 3 times 2x. That is an example of substitution property. Definition of subtraction, we learned last module also. We've been using a lot with these simplifying problems. If you've got a number minus a number, you can rewrite that as a number plus the opposite of that number. Okay, a minus b, a minus b is the same as a plus a negative b. All right. 3 minus 5 can be written as 3 plus negative 5. They are both equal to negative 2. All right, these are the properties that you need to be aware of this year. Okay, you're going to need to study the sheet. You're going to need to study it. Okay. All right, now we're going to do some proofs. These get tough for kids. These get tough. All right, so let's look at this first example here. Take a sip of water real quick. Okay. Jane wants to find the sum of 3 plus 12 plus 17 plus 28. She uses the following logic. 3 and 17 are 20, and 12 and 28 are 40. The sum of 20 and 40 is 60. Why is that okay? The table below shows how to justify her thinking using the properties to justify each step. All right, so here's the original problem, 3 plus 12 plus 17 plus 28. No change. This is where she started. This is a given expression. Okay, then she talks about 3 and 17 pairing them up. So she's going to take the 12 and the 17 off the paper, flip them around and land them. Okay, the 17 and 12 traded places. That's called the commutative property of addition. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to group together the 3 and the 17 and 12 and 28. Okay, we're adding the numbers in pairs. That's the associative property of addition. Okay, now 20 was substituted for 3 plus 17 and 40 was substituted for 12 plus 28. Okay, Jane found the sums in the parentheses. Okay, Jane is now following the order of operations, substitution used twice. Okay, then 20 plus 60 gets replaced, 20 plus 40 gets replaced by a 60 by the substitution property. Okay, all right, so let's look at this guy. So it says 3 groups of x minus 4 minus 12 is being simplified. Explain what happened in each step and state the property that justified that change. All right, no change is happening here because it's the beginning. Okay, this is the given expression. Scooch that up. All right, now what's happening from here to here is notice these minus signs became plus negative. The subtractions became plus negatives. Okay, that is called the definition of subtraction. Okay, next thing that happens is the 3 gets distributed into the x and the negative 4 to make 3x plus negative 12. So 3 groups distribute to the x and negative 4. That's the distributive property. Okay, then, doesn't it look like the 12s got grouped? Negative 12s got grouped. Associative property. All right, then negative 12 plus negative 12 became negative 24. Well, that is the substitution property. Simplified negative 12 plus negative 12 into negative 24 by the substitution property. And then this plus a negative changed to a minus a positive. Okay, well, that's the definition of subtraction reversed. The plus a negative, the plus a negative became minus a positive. Definition of subtraction. All right, those are tough. Kids don't like them. They're tough. Okay, all right, we've got two more to try. Two more to try. All right, so the first one is always no change given expression. All right, well, the two distributed, didn't it? Two groups distributed into the 3x and 1. That's the distributive property. All right, what happened from here to here is it looks like this 2 and this negative 5x came off the paper and flipped around. 2 and negative 5x switched places. That is the commutative property. Okay, then all of a sudden these parentheses get tucked in. I'm going to just say the like terms are grouped. Like terms are grouped. That means that the terms with the x's are grouped and the terms that are just numbers were grouped. That's by the associative property. And then a 6x and a negative 5x makes 1x. That's the substitution property. And then 2 plus negative 3 is negative 1. So simplified like terms by substitution. All righty, one more. Okay, that expression is being simplified. Here we go. No change given expression. All right, the 1 and the 7x switched. The 1 and 7x switched. That's called the commutative property. All right, the 3 distributed into the 7x and the 1 and became, so 3 groups of 7x and 1. That's called the distributive property. Okay, then it looks like the like terms are grouped. Like terms grouped. by the associative property. Okay, and then the 3 plus -5 became a -2 by, let me put simplified, like terms, by substitution. And then this plus a negative became a minus a positive. So plus negative became minus positive. And that's by the definition of subtraction. All right, those are proofs, guys. That's the very beginning of them. Okay, these are tough for kids every year. Okay, thanks, guys.